This is Pastime Viewpoints, and this is TNA Pay-Per-View Sacrifice. It's me, Jeff. I got Thomas and Gil. Do we need anyone else tonight, guys?
We could use some of them, but of course they're off doing whatever else.
We could always use a good, TNA guy, but I think he left. And then there's that other guy.
And then that other guy. Then that other guy who has yet to show up.
God damn it, Waterhouse!
No, he went to work.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
And then there's Mr. Darius Williams. Get a fucking headset and you can join us, you motherfucker. We're gonna get a bad rating on YouTube now, aren't we?
Well, who knows? But anyways, let's continue.
Anyway, Sacrifice! So we were all pretty excited for this. Thomas, you bailed on us without warning us for when we were going to... I hope you're proud of yourself there. You made me look like a fool.
Well,
so, our
needed
predictions
any help
were
with that.
kind of...
Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, our predictions were mostly right. There was a few wrong stuff. But we're going to kick off the night with the first match of the night, which was the handicap tag team match between the Bromans and the Wolves. And the first thing we should talk about this was that it also became a no disqualification match.
Yeah.
And there really wasn't any weapons used, which the only thing that was used was the computer. But
yeah,
I mean, it couldn't have been done because there was so much other stuff going on in that night that had stuff involved.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I like how they did that to make it where they couldn't just use the computer to get DQ'd.
Right.
The only other way I could have seen around it was doing the whole if they get DQ'd, they'll lose the titles.
That's
thing.
what I thought they were gonna do. Honestly, when they gave,
but at the same time, when that setup's given, they usually try to get a count out win or something.
Well, yeah.
So, so they probably thought that they just went fuck it, we'll just go no DQ.
Yeah.
Plus it allowed for the laptop to get used.
Yeah,
so.
and what we saw was a great match, a great handicap tag team match, with the Wolves coming out on top and becoming the two-time tag team champions of TNA. Gil, where did the Wolves go from here?
Well, okay. Slightly off topic, but you said this is their second win. In my opinion, it should have been their first.
I know. We all agree with this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But TNA does recognize their first title win.
Right.
And they were talking about it. So... But hey, they kept the title the entire night, which, I kind of thought maybe there's still a chance that Storm could cash in at some point. If they ever bring it back up.
Yeah, I was going to say, did they completely drop that, or are they planning on going back onto it? I mean, seriously.
It's hard to say.
I mean, has Storm even been seen with the briefcase since he turned on Gunner?
No.
Which means either Gunner has it and just gave it up, or...
They just dropped it.
Or they just, dropped it or forgot or whatever. But I guess that could be what Storm does now.
Well, yeah.
Possibly.
He just needs a tag team partner.
That is true, and if this thing between Bobby Roode and Bully Ray is finally done, which we'll talk more later, there's a potential partner right there.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this was a great opening match. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's exactly what you expect with the Wolves and regaining the titles, but I feel we should talk more on the second match, the committed match between Anderson and Samuel Shaw. I loved the video. I mean, they did this great video package for this match. It was really. I mean, they did quite a few video packages tonight. And I honestly like that more when they have it because it lets people who who might just be watching with friends go, oh, so that's what's going on here.
Yeah, and I actually like it that they recap the whole feud from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because normally, WWE would just go, we left off at this, the last pay-per-view, and then just go from there.
Yeah, and
in this
case, they even started even before Anderson got involved.
Yeah.
When it very first started.
Right.
And then it showed a bunch of the stuff from the past week with his mother. And what we got was a another very good match between these two guys. And we saw Christie getting involved a few times. And we ultimately see Anderson get the win. And so Samuel Shaw is now committed.
I hope to God that they do use that as a way to bring his mother in as a recurring character.
My God, it needs to happen. Because as we said Thursday night, it should happen. Granted, it's stealing from WWE because you had Shelton Benjamin and his mother, but the difference is this is not a big black woman.
Yeah, this isn't like a racist stereotype.
This is a MILF.
I was going to say,
MILF.
Yeah, we're talking, like a MILF. I mean, seriously, we're talking like Bates Motel style stuff here.
Yes, and the idea of having her and Christie in the same general facility, I like that.
See, it would be even more interesting if we found out that this woman was actually a wrestler.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh my God. Christie versus Christie. Christie Shaw versus Christie Hemme. Look that. But no, I mean, and one of the best highlights of the match was when Anderson had him in the headlock, and they go backstage and there's JP, and you just hear Anderson go, "Hey JP, JP, come interview us, and JP's just like, what the hell? No, come on, interview us. How's the match going? Oh, it's going pretty bad for me. Oh. It's just, it's gold.
No, seriously. I mean, fans, you wanted TNA to do original stuff. They're doing it. Seriously.
And the end of the match comes when Anderson gets him out that way. He's a little brutal. He's got him on a little flatbed, rolls him into some stuff, and then our feeds cut out. Every one of our feeds cut out.
Yeah.
But going back,
I think I saw like a bit where like he'd shut the thing, but I wasn't sure if Shaw was actually in there or not.
Was that the ending was that Anderson was like getting ready to get him in there, and then Shaw attacks him, and then Christie comes out. Christie goes in there, and then distracts Sam Shaw enough for him to do a mic check, and then he throws him in there, and then they close, and they send him off, and then Anderson and Christie celebrate as it drives off. So, I mean, it was a good match. It really was a great match. And hopefully this is the end for Anderson and Shaw, and Shaw moves on to something else.
Right, and you know, like I was saying in like the previous podcast, like a character like this, I mean, like I was trying to figure out how they're gonna move him on from Anderson because, you know, especially with the whole Christie Hemme thing, but like you said, I think the perfect thing would be for his mother to come in and, you know, do and try and get him out of wherever he's committed, and then just like
honestly,
be his manager, you know.
Honestly, I hope they do that through like 365 stuff.
No, I want this is what I want for this Thursday on Impact. Throughout the entire night, you just see these little videos of Shaw in the mental institution, and then the very last one, you see a nurse come up and say, "Okay, Shaw, you're being released," and then you see his mother, and then it just kind of leads at a point where she's like, "We've got work to do, Samuel," and then it just kind of ends there. And then let's take a week off, have nothing about this. And then
a way you could, instead of having like all that in one night, you could like spread it over a few weeks.
Yeah, I kind of. I mean, you know, you don't want
to. I guess it depends on how long they want to have him off TV. I guess.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I'm saying only have him off for 2 weeks because you don't want him gone that long, honestly, and it would give them enough time to So they have the 1 week
where
they focus on this, and then the free week, and then they go back to this.
Right.
Like the more I think about it, it's like with the way they set up the mum, I think the mum would try to get him out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah, which and the thing is that 365, you could have that be a couple of days because from a Sunday to the technical Thursday aspect of it.
Right.
Set it up where he's been in there for a week, or not a week. 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's easy that way.
And hell, with the Impact 365, they could even do it quicker than that, so he could be back on
and see what you can do. Every day they have a video of him in there, and then the one on Thursday, they have it on the program where it shows that she comes and gets him, and then she's like, "We've got work to do." And then you just see this little backstage segment where they beat up Anderson and they move on from him.
Yeah.
Right.
So after that match, we got gold again. Rockstar Spud and EC3 versus Kurt Angle and Willow. And my God, we really need these two in a sitcom with Dixie Carter, How I Met Your Aunt Dixie, or How I Met Madam Dixie.
Oh.
I mean, I've got 2 working titles now. CBS has yet to return my calls, but I did get an email that shows they might be interested.
Oh. Big Bang Theory, you're going to be knocked off.
Yeah, we're coming from the next Big Bang Theory. About goddamn time someone knocks you off your little pedestal. But no, this was a pretty decent match also. You had EC3 and Rockstar Spud continuing to play off each other. In the gold, the crowd started chanting boring at one point, but that was only because they were doing everything in their power not to wrestle these guys.
Right.
So
they were doing their heel antics.
Yeah, and then Kurt Angle's like, "I will kick your ass back to England if you don't tag EC3, Spud." And the look of terror in his eyes, like, okay.
Yeah, like the crowd kept cheering to get Spud in.
Yeah, Spud got a great reaction. If they ever turn him face,
God, he'd be like the Spike Dudley of jobbers.
Dude,
with how over he'd be.
No, in all honesty, I already think he's surpassed Spike Dudley.
Well, yeah.
As far as like being entertaining and stuff.
Oh yeah, but I mean like generally being over as a skinny little jobber. He's pretty damn over.
They could make him a little more serious, honestly.
Right.
Just playing off as a little weak guy because you look at Rey Mysterio.
Right.
But,
well, Rey kind of has to be because he can't really do anything.
Well, yeah, he's kind of like
bland.
He starts running. He's like, "Oh, my knee, guys, my knee, X, I need the X." So another great match here, and then we get another Nux promo with his girlfriend, Rebel.
Rebel.
Yes, her name is Rebel, and he actually, I'm pretty sure, actually in the promo he says, "I need Rebel." So apparently it's another side of her. And then he goes on to say, "Oh, and by the way, it's going to be the 4 of us.
So
I'm going to get them."
Nux is going to be bringing in like a somewhat of a faction?
It appears so, and
I guess it depends on whether they're wrestlers or not. Because we know them.
Boy.
We found out the
I can see
but,
already the WWE mark saying this is going to be a Wyatt family ripoff.
Possibly. But see,
considering
the thing is,
Nux is completely normal, I don't see how they could.
But-
It's like,
but-
they're all backwards with beards.
but he's got a beard.
Exactly.
Backwards. And we don't know who Crazy Steve or the Freak is. Although, if I'm to guess, we're going to have Nux, Rebel, Stevie Richards, and Scott Steiner.
Stevie Richards and Scott Steiner.
And, with everything Scott Steiner has said about TNA lately, I'm really impressed he's coming back to the program. That's very big of him. But no, I mean, what are we like? You wonder how long it's going to be before we see all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
What should we? I mean, what can we expect from this?
I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah, in all honesty, I'm looking
this could
forward
go like
to this.
anyway.
Seriously, I'm actually glad that TNA is actually investing some time into Nux right now.
Yeah.
That's more than he ever got out of WWE.
I mean, they've established a character here that, for all intents and purposes, could come in as a face.
Mm-hmm.
With a
he left as a he left as a face anyway, so it makes sense that he's coming back. No, him and Garrett both ditched Bully, I think, in the very end of it, or at least Nux did.
They were still essentially a heel though. It was just they left Aces and Eights because they never really stood against them in that way, like Daniel Bryan stood against the Nexus.
Right.
But I mean, I could see him coming in as a face, but with him bringing in these other two, it's a good chance he's probably going to come in as a heel.
Right.
Well, I guess it depends on how they play it.
The thing is, if they do this, I honestly hope they don't throw him immediately into the main event and make this another Aces and Eights style storyline.
Yeah.
I doubt it. This seems more like it'll be like a slow build.
It's going to have to be because Nux hasn't really done anything. He did nothing in Aces and Eights. And granted, yes, he has the beard. We don't know what the freak or Crazy Steve looks like. But when you say Crazy Steve, I instantly think of some guy with a giant beard. But he's not spewing any stuff like, I'm the eater of worlds, or he's got the whole world in his hands, while he caresses John Cena and just looks into his eyes and goes...
I can already tell just by the way this is being played out that those kind of fans are going to try and spin this that way.
But that's how that's how they always do this, though. They're going to spin anything you throw at them.
Mm-hmm.
The beautiful people. It's cool. No, it's not.
Well, that was definitely the other way around.
The X Division is just a watered-down cruiserweight division. Nope. And speaking of X Division, we had match 3 of the best of 3 between Tigre Uno versus Sonata. And again, another amazing video package before this, showing Sonata. It's pretty much showing that Sonata had everything to lose in this match, even though he's champion.
Mm-hmm.
This was, my God, this was the match of the night.
Yeah.
Which, as you figured it would be.
Oh, yeah, it's Sonata and Tigre Uno.
Oh, no. But see, you haven't seen the match yet. When you go and watch it, just be ready. Because what was that, Thomas? That, spike DDT he did or something like that?
To me it looked like a leg trap Steenalizer. If you've ever seen that before, which is
let's just say...
head capture sort of suplexy thing.
Let's just say when you looked at it, you're like, okay, Sonata's dead. But he's not
dead. It looked like he spiked him right on the top of his head, and it was like, Jesus Christ.
It's a great match, and now the only question is, what's next for these two guys?
Well, now that Tigre Uno's had his time in the spotlight, I think Sonata should maybe face an Austin Aries or a
Kenny King,
King, or exactly.
Well, yeah, didn't they had Kenny King say a week or two ago, didn't they?
It was just last week, I believe.
Whoever wins, whoever wins this, I should be facing.
Yeah, but I think he's still got a little more time with MVP though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe even
hell, if anything, that might be it might be like Kenny King Sonata at Slammiversary or something.
Maybe.
And the entire month of May is devoted to MVP Kenny King.
Maybe even a DJ Zima Ion, maybe.
Right. Or maybe even go and grab a Manic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that'd be cool.
Rockstar Spud even.
Yeah.
Well, really, he could just go with anyone. I mean, whoever it is,
has
though,
a
would
whole
have
bunch
to
of contenders in him, ahead of him. And, I'll come out and say this, I'm a big fan of Japanese wrestling, so naturally, I'm a big fan of Sonata.
I would never consider that, Gil.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had it so hidden. All right.
I mean, all your hentai stuff and all that good stuff.
Wait, what's that got to do with Japanese wrestling?
What?
Okay, I understand. I was watching a video of Brandy Rhodes earlier, but in a bikini
on YouTube.
On YouTube, when you were trying to direct me towards the JBL and Cole show. But anyways,
hey, be sure to tweet that at Curtis Axel.
What's it like to not have this as your wife? Anyways.
And there's your WWE for the week, people. That's probably all you're going to get. But remember, hashtag Curtis Axel. Be sure to do it.
But anyways, my whole point in all this, I honestly hope that Sonata stays in TNA for a good while because, it's not easy to get Wrestle 1. It's bad enough that the only way you can watch New Japan Pro Wrestling is on Ustream, but it's even harder to get Wrestle 1. And I'm a big fan of Sonata. I love what he can do, and I hope he's around to stay for hopefully even past Slammiversary.
Well, hopefully he's around for the long.
Yeah. Because seriously, he is a good addition to the roster.
But the thing you have to consider though is the fact that he doesn't speak English.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not. I mean, so long as the guy puts on an awesome contest, I'm cool with that. Or heck, they could even give him a translator if they need to.
Well, yeah, that's what I've thought. That's what I've thought. If they ever wanted to have him, generally have some sort of actual feud.
Have the Great Buddha with him.
Have generally give him a manager that can act as a translator that does all his talking for him.
Well, WWE should get Yoshitatsu.
Considering that Muda is the CEO of Wrestle 1, that would be hard to do, but at least somebody.
Oh yeah. Oh no, one of the bromans, one of those guys, they speak Japanese.
Jesse Goddard's or.
It was one of the two. I don't remember. It was on that segment on Impact.
Right.
It was really. I mean, he was really good at what he did too. It was so. I mean, it was like he was just speaking English.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm just talking out of my ass right now.
Uh-huh. So, anyways,
so this was the match of the night, and let's go to the low point of the night. Honestly. The I Quit match between James Storm and Gunner. This was honestly a letdown. The crowd was not into this match.
Like, there was kind of low points for me, but I wouldn't really call it, completely terrible or anything.
Would you call it the worst match of the night,
though?
Maybe the match that you cared about the least.
Honestly, I'd say I actually... as far as matches I paid attention to, I would actually not rate this at the bottom because there was at least one or two where I had walked off and did stuff while, but it wasn't because it wasn't because I wanted to because I didn't care if I missed him. It's just that I really needed a drink. And that was the tag match from earlier.
Go to hell.
And kind of during the tables match, I think.
Which tag team match?
Spud and EC3 versus Angle Willow. I didn't really want to, but there was nothing much happening at the moment, I think, when I did. So, and it had like the speakers going, so I could
Well-
still hear what was going on.
The crowd really was dead throughout the entire match for the most part, and it was really weird.
Mm.
But then, like I
Like
was,
like from like what I said I think I said it in the thread. I was like, I think what it was the crowd was expecting a full blown weapon spot
but
fest.
even before
and
the
they
match,
didn't
though, it
necessarily
wasn't that
get it.
powerful of a reaction for either guy. That was
Like
the
for
thing.
Storm, I kind of
See,
got because heel.
Yeah, the
But
problem was.
Gunna like
Gil has
yeah.
the floor, Thomas.
Okay, I see the problem with this, and it's that, they've had already 3 matches since lockdown, right?
And how many before that? They've had a lot of matches since he's turned on it.
And they've basically thrown everything at each other in those matches. I mean, the last one they had on Impact a while back, that one was pretty brutal.
Haven't they been in a cage
Yeah.
also?
Yes, they were in a cage.
Yeah, that was
too.
yeah.
They've
that
essentially
was,
done everything but a submissions match.
Right.
pretty much.
And you see, the thing about that is, if you can't really raise the bar any higher. I mean,
Yeah,
sure, it's an I Quit match, but what are you doing? I mean, all you're doing is the same old thing that you were doing in the last one. The thing with the
Yeah.
chairs, everything.
The last one was a last man standing match.
Right.
Was
and
that
then
the last one?
that
Oh,
was at the
do you
last
mean, like,
pay-per-view.
pay-per-view? Well, yeah, the last
At
pay-per-view.
lockdown,
And
it was last
and
man
then they had,
standing,
like,
wasn't it?
They had one. They
Yeah,
had
it
a
was like-
rematch
yeah.
on Impact a couple weeks ago.
And then they were
Yeah.
involved in a tag team match with Storm and Rude in there,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
or Bully and Rude. Yeah,
Mm.
Bully and Rude. But I mean, it's just honestly, it's like I was saying earlier. It's more than likely it's because they saw this too much. They're sick of this. It needs to be. They need to move on from this.
And I'm
Which-
hoping after this match
So
they did.
yeah.
They
God,
do.
there's nothing else they could do with this.
Mm.
I mean, I can't think of
Well,
another
yeah, go-
match.
Well, yeah. Since like, if anything, I'm surprised it didn't end at the last man standing, because usually that's.
Yeah,
Well, it's not always a feud ender, but occasionally it's used as a
but
feud
it's a good.
ender.
Yeah,
so-
it's a good way to end it there. Now the question is, where do these two go from here? Because
like,
Storm did not win a single match.
unless you count the tag match that they had that involved Rude.
No,
Bully.
I don't count that. I'm counting this simply in the feud aspect.
What's kind of sad though is that like Storm kind of set up the fact that he was going to lose in his promo, where people called him like, I forget what it was, but like a term that basically meant that he was like used to elevate other guys.
Oh, a Star Maker.
It's like, yeah, it was like, yeah, that kind of, when you think about it, that's like, wow, he was just saying, yep, I'm losing.
Well, honestly, I mean, we all said we had to win, but I mean, if they're trying to build up Gunner, then this is the only way to do it. But the thing is,
Right.
though,
Well, yeah.
who does Gunner go to now?
Well,
What heel
Magnus,
is?
maybe? I mean, Magnus doesn't really, unless Magnus faces
Well,
Eric
he,
again,
well,
which
well,
is
he
not
does
hurt.
have some unfinished business with Magnus, I would guess.
exactly.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
But
Gunner
I
and
mean,
Magnus.
but
That
really,
could
is Magnus the best person to go to?
Well,
Well, it
I
really
mean,
depends on what they're doing with Magnus as well, because he doesn't really have anything to do
Yeah,
now.
true.
Unless
I
they
mean-
unless they go with Abyss versus Magnus, they don't really
See,
have anything.
that's
for
also what I was
Magnus.
going to say. Maybe have Abyss versus Gunner, but I mean, there's just it's so kind of like that, and then you go, well, where's James Storm going to go? There's, I mean, yeah, no.
James Storm
back to
still
the
does
tag
have an option.
Well, yeah, he's got the
He's
The
got
case.
the case.
but I don't see him teaming up with Rude
Which,
anytime
if
soon
anything,
because of their
yeah, like
little
if
argument.
anything, there might be a reason why they haven't brought it up, because maybe
They
on
haven't
like
decided who is going to be his partner yet. Maybe.
well that, and they might want it to actually be a surprise. So
Well,
like
yeah.
when he finally, when he finally does, it's just kind of out of nowhere.
Well, honestly, I'm thinking most fans have probably already forgotten about that. But, I mean, if you're kind of like us and we kind of keep up with this really to an unhealthy extent.
That's one way of
Because,
putting
I mean,
it.
it is 1:24 in the morning and we're doing a podcast here. For me and Gil here.
See, we would have done it earlier if I wasn't looking at divas and knockouts. But
But I mean, yeah, it's kind of sad to see where that feud went between those two. It really went downhill after a point. They had their high, and it should have ended at the high point.
right.
And
Like
then
I'll put it,
rode
yeah.
a
Like
little too far.
I'll put it this way. This was the weakest of the matches that they have had.
Yes,
I'll say that. I will say that. I can.
And even
But-
with the ending where they
Like
did
what's
the whole-
kind of like what is kind of ironic though is that the finish is what won the crowd back over.
Yeah,
essentially.
but
Like
they did the whole Reed thing where
I think
they
it's
got
because
the
they
chairs and then did the guardrail instead. Which let me again point this out. They had the extra guardrail on the railing on the outside. Put it under the fucking ring, please. That I
well,
caught
that's
that.
it. It's
near the very beginning
TNA,
of
not
the match.
ECW.
And then who was it? You in the chat saying and bring out a table, or was it D?
I think that was D. Or it
Yeah,
might have
it's
been...
like no, he wanted a flaming table. But then I mean,
No. That was like Zell had gone like the only thing that could
Adam.
top the guardrail superplex thing was like a flaming.
I mean,
table.
the end is we had the guardrail, superflex on the guardrail, and then Gunner got the glass and started poking it into Storm's head where he said he quit. Even though Storm did the same thing to Gunner. Another thing before we move on, it's this whole thing they're doing with Gunner that's bothering me. They're John Cena-ing him right now.
Yeah, like to be fair, I honestly thought that this was the way this match was going to go. In that I knew like the way they'd set up Gunner, there was no way, short of his death and being attacked by Storm,
But
that he was
still,
going to.
it's a bad thing. You don't want to build up the character
Because
like that.
well, that's just it. It's part of his character. If it wasn't part of his character, then it wouldn't make sense. But
Honestly, it just kind of leads the way down for...
especially considering this is a guy that's a former Marine, so he's been through a lot worse shit than what he's going through here. So, but at the same, like, I guess if anything, it's like, let's see.
we need to have a timer for you.
Well, anyways,
Gil, what do you?
I can see where you're going on this. I mean, especially if Storm basically dominates the entire match, and then suddenly Gunner basically like John Cena, Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules.
Well, and see,
where-
that's what he did. Storm kicked his ass the entire match, busted him open, was doing the whole hitting him on the ring ropes or on the turnbuckle, went to the second turnbuckle, hit him, and then Gunner just goes ah, ta 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 ta, and then starts hitting that like he has been, and then he just dominates, and then he just controlled the rest of the match,
Right.
essentially.
Not entirely, but yeah.
But it was essentially the same way that John Cena controls the match, where he comes back. He gets his ass kicked for the majority of the match, for 3/4 of the match, and then he comes back a little bit, gets a little offense in on him again, and then just ends up...
Well, I remember it actually was kind of back and forth for a bit, but it was like when it got into like the last quarter of the matches when it basically was like completely Storm, and then it was just going like no, never, piss off, which was honestly, got to admit, that was pretty funny when he just told the referee to piss off.
Piss off! Essentially almost passing out, but I mean, again, it was probably the low point of the match, and let's go to the knockouts. In the surprise of the night, Angelina Love won the title. I would honestly say that's one of the surprises of the night was that Angelina Love won the title, because Madison just won the title.
I know, seriously, I won't lie. This is bittersweet for me.
Yeah.
When did she win the title?
She won it at Lockdown. She beat Gail Kim and won the title at Lockdown.
Or was it before Lockdown? Let's look.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she had it before Lockdown, but Lockdown was like a...
Okay, I think the Lockdown was the rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it must have been Genesis then, maybe.
No. She won it on Impact.
They've already updated the roster. They updated the page already.
Yeah.
She had it... yeah, there you go, Genesis. Impact Wrestling Genesis.
But in all honesty... I think Angelina should have won the title. I just don't think she should have won it tonight.
Well, yeah, no, it was, and she won by an underhanded way. They did the whole hairspray in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So classic beautiful people.
Well, yeah, but okay. On January 16th at Genesis episode, she defeated. Yeah, so she was champion since January. So
yeah.
3 months, but it's still kind of short, honestly.
Well, yeah.
Considering how short some of the other women's reigns are, it's not that bad.
Well, see, the reason for that, the reason I guess it feels so short, even though it was 3 months, was because...
This feud was so short.
Well, the feud with the beautiful people seems like it should be at its starting point. But
Infancy.
I'm talking about before that. Her feud with Gail Kim was lackluster at best.
Well, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it was, honestly.
So, in other words, we didn't really get that much reason to care about it. Mainly because, at the time, the whole thing was with Lady Tapa and Gail Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, in all honesty, did not live up to its potential.
No, it didn't, honestly. And, I still feel like they could have ran with the whole beautiful people chasing after the title.
Well, yeah.
It's like
and
I
then
said.
It does feel like the chase could have gone for a lot longer.
Right. It's like I said. I do believe Angelina should have won the title, just not tonight. There was more that they could have done. Maybe have Madison Rayne beat Angelina clean, but then at the next pay-per-view have them use the underhanded tactics to win
or even have them use the underhanded techniques and lose that way. Have the ref catch it and then get disqualification.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you can. They can still continue this feud, and they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
But it just.
I guess they did it. I guess they did it now because they might give it back to Madison at Slammiversary or something.
But granted, they're going to be holding up on this because Angelina Love. This was the 6th time she's won the title.
Right. I was gonna say, but the last thing I think TNA needs is to hot potato their championships.
And see, they shouldn't, which is exactly what we're afraid. I think that's what it is. I think we're afraid that's what they're gonna do now with the title.
Yeah.
And it's nice sometimes, but honestly, at this point, the division's not that. They don't have a lot of depth to the division.
Mm-hmm.
And hot potatoing it is a bad way of showcasing that.
Exactly.
Yeah, though I guess they might use this now to do something with
they've
Brittany.
they've got ODB and Taryn Terrell should be making a return soon.
Yeah.
They've got Brittany.
Now the interesting thing there though is if Terrell comes back, she was slated to win the title a little while ago. So it'll be interesting to see.
What if she? Nah, I was gonna say, what if she joined the Beautiful People? That'd be interesting.
See, the thing I was
but
thinking
I doubt
was
it.
Brittany joined the Beautiful People.
Well, in a way, I could almost see this going the sort of Mickie James route, where if she does turn heel, she just kind of stays on her own.
But we've seen that way too many times.
Mm.
But hey, what do we know anymore? We're just watching. We're obsessed little fans. Yay! TNA!
But yeah, thinking about it, if they wanted to do the change, they kind of could have held it off for a bit longer until even if it was like
Do it.
Slammiversary and have like Madison defend it against both.
Well, yeah, have her.
Between it.
Yeah, have like a fatal 4-way or something with Brittany in there.
Mm.
And then...
And like generally give Velvet a chance to have a shot before Angelina won.
Yeah. Give them both a shot there, and then, build that up. But, hey, let's see where it goes. We've got this Thursday and to see what happens with that.
Mm-hmm.
And now, probably for the highlight of the night, not the match of the night, the highlight, is the tables match between Bully Ray and Bobby Roode. Now, we see that the crowd does not care about PG-13 or anything like that. Bully Ray started a shit factor chant.
Yeah.
I mean, this was another good match. The one thing I think a lot of people are questioning was the ref bump.
Yeah.
Because
like, that looked like the ref was just trying to get out of the way and then just sort of went down.
Well,
for no reason.
honestly, when they did the replay, they made sure not to show that. They picked the worst camera angle ever. It makes you wonder if they even connected with the ref.
Well, that's just it. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was supposed to be Dixie buying the ref off.
But
so the ref just took a dive.
But it wouldn't explain. Because I mean, it looks like
the ref doesn't come. Yeah, because like the ref doesn't come to until Dixie pushes Bully off the thing. So
hey, wait! You just spoiled it. You spoiled took that moment from me. You took that from me. Get off this podcast. Gil, edit that out. Edit it out and put a kitten in there for his voice instead.
Oh
What's he
my
yelling at
gosh.
But no. So Dixie Carter comes in dressed as Daniel Bryan with glasses. Because, you know, they don't steal from WWE enough. And cost Bully Ray the match. And honestly, most of us didn't catch on that was Dixie right away. Because you...
Yeah, it, yeah. Like, I think it was like... after she like was stepping down that I realized it was her.
And then right before you posted that on Facebook, I put 2 and 2 together because it's like, who would do? Oh my God, it's Dixie! Like she's actually getting involved in a match where she. I mean, Bully Ray had he had Rude on 2 tables on the outside of the ring, and he was just gonna jump from the apron. And the crowd's like, higher, higher, go higher. So blame the crowd on this one, folks.
Right.
So he goes to the top rope. And then all of a sudden, the person in black with a beard, giant glasses, and a hat comes up and pushes him off, and Rude moves out of the way. And for the longest time, even the crowd was like, what is going on? I don't think the crowd realized it until she started yelling.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't seem to realize until she started talking.
And luckily, we caught on for that.
And then they started the Dixie Sucks chant just as she was about to rip the disguise off.
I think after they did that was the point that she probably figured, okay, I'll just go ahead and take this off.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the whole CM Punk when he was just dressed as Jeff Hardy after Jeff Hardy left.
That was hilarious.
And the crowd's like, "Wow, it's Jeff! It's Jeff!" And Punk's just like,
it was like in the ring before they realized.
He just kept going. The announcers announced it before the crowd noticed it, and even then the crowd still kept going. Wasn't until he got into the ring where they finally like, oh, wait. That was gold. Again,
yes, and so was this.
From WWE. What can you do?
Like, yeah, this was easily the moment of the night.
Yeah, so now this just begs the question, are they continuing this? Because
yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, but we might have a Gunner Storm situation brewing here.
No,
With the way
well,
these two have been facing, going.
Well, at least with this case, it's like you can't really have Dixie versus Bully aside.
Yeah,
Like
I mean-
they could change. Well, that's just it. They might change the wrestlers around. I doubt it'll be Rude Bully.
Well, see that. Yeah,
It
maybe.
looked like because it looked like Dixie was just doing it for her, not
The
Rude.
one thing
Right.
I see here is with Dixie Carter now involved, it puts a whole new element into this feud between these two people.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she's still president of TNA. She still has power. She just doesn't have power over the wrestling, like booking matches and all that. But she still has power.
Right. So I could see her like sort of have like a Heenan Hogan thing where she like starts managing guy after guy after guy to try and
Take
out
Bully.
Bully.
Yeah.
yeah, which could probably last at least until Slammiversary.
Maybe. And the
Depending on-
Slammiversary's in June,
yeah.
so
Well, yeah, that's like that could work. Just she finally settles on one person, and that one person faces him at Slammiversary, maybe.
C3.
That could
No,
work.
no, I'm sorry. At Slammiversary, Bully Ray versus Rockstar Spud
Oh my gosh.
in an Ultimate Tables match.
So you mean like an Iron Man match for tables or something?
No, an Ultimate Tables match. There's a giant table, and they got to put him through the table. They wrestle on a giant table.
Oh god.
I'd pay money to see that, wouldn't you?
We'll see how that turns out when.
That's Dixie! I don't want to do this! Shut up, Spud! Yes, madam. They could have some great scenes of her pumping steroids into Spud.
Oh,
Making him drink like those, that shit that you see bodybuilders drinking all the time.
Oh my god! The build up to that. They're at the gym, 300 pounds of weights. Spud's like, Madam, I can't do this, madam. Shut up and bitch. And he's got this 1 pound weight. It's like, madam, I can barely do this, madam. It hurts.
They have Dixie take him
And
off.
then he finally does a rep,
Oh.
and they're like, okay, that's 1. We need you to do 10 more. Madam, it took me an hour to do that one, though. We'll be here in 9 hours then if it takes. You're gonna bulk up. Again.
Oh, that would be
Oh
gold.
god, and like
With
at
Spud-
Slammiversary they just have Rob Terry come in.
Oh my gosh.
Right itself. And then Bob Terry can do a Hurricane Rana.
Actually, that actually would be a good excuse to bring back Rob Terry, wouldn't it?
Unless he's the freak.
Well, who knows?
Oh. I don't think he's Crazy Steve.
Right.
So, okay. Let's go ahead and go to the main event, which was EY versus Magnus. And the video package was amazing.
Oh yeah.
They put a lot of effort into showing that EY is a credible champion. They went through his entire career in TNA, including showing scenes of World Elite.
Yeah.
One thing and the thing was, when you watch
Kind of
well, no, the thing was, during that entire video package, did you ever see him pull his trunks down?
No.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to bring up. That's
Yeah.
the one thing they skipped.
No, that's the thing though. They want to build him as a credible champion. They took all that stuff and said, nope. When he was Knockouts champion, or Knockouts Tag Team champions, nothing. They did not show anything like that.
And they only like briefly showed Super Eric.
Well, no, but Super Eric was still a big character though.
Mm.
The whole "Don't Fire Eric," they had that. I kind of forgot he had blonde hair at one point.
Oh yeah. Like, I tell you.
Team
Like-
Canada and all that.
Mm.
But and then you had the thing, and then it cut to Magnus talking, and it was very strong promo. The video package went longer than a typical WWE package for the world title.
Mm.
And the match itself was again a really good match.
Right.
It was great back and forth between the two, and
which is kind of surprising considering Magnus's track record in high-profile matches hasn't been all that great as of late.
Honestly, this is probably one of his better matches with the title on the line.
Oh yeah.
And the thing was, there was no outside interference.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the second time.
This
is the second time because he didn't have any outside interference with EY the first time.
And they even made a point of that, of him saying in the promo before it, where it's like, I'm on my own, and it's like he actually wants to prove that all that paper champion talk is bullshit by
and that
beating.
EY is going to be the real paper champion, which is what I said on the last podcast we did.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and they really built this up between these two. EY did 2 pile drivers, 2 elbow drops. I mean, they did all this. They did everything. Like, both of these guys looked really strong in the match. And you can't fault either one in the loss because they both came out looking good in this.
Oh yeah, like
Magnus.
the fact that Magnus
strong.
Like, I must admit that it was a legitimate shock to me when he did kick out of the pile driver. I was just like, wait a minute, what? Like, I thought that was it, but then he kicks out, and I'm like, oh shit, he might. And I think that's what it was. It was to swerve us into thinking that he might win and not EY.
And then
but
he hit
EY
the pile driver. But they both hit elbow drops, and they made a point. They both do elbow drop finishers.
Right.
But I think EY did the elbow drop, and then did a pile driver a little bit after the match.
Another
pile driver, and then he ran to the rope, and he ran up to top, and then did the other elbow drop for the win.
Yeah.
It was again a good match. It wasn't match of the night, but it was right up there. Because of course, Sonata and Tigre Uno. It's a little more. It's 2 different styles of matches.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tigre Uno versus Sonata was more like you'd see in the WCW Cruiserweight division. And I'm a little nostalgic for that myself because I loved watching that when I was a kid. So there's that little nostalgia there for me, which makes me a little biased on that. But this is still a good technical match, and hopefully this is the end between these two. Because, like you said, for now, Magnus needs to have something done to make himself look more credible.
Right, and hopefully this is the start.
Yeah. Maybe. And the interesting thing was here. In the back of my mind, I thought Abyss might play some role, but he didn't.
Yeah, same here.
Which, I'm glad it didn't. But then it just throws the question, is he going to be a heel? Is he going to be a tweener? Is he going to be a face? I don't want him to be a tweener or a face. I think he should be a heel. He needs to be a straight heel.
Yeah.
And if he's that, you could have him feud with Magnus for a little bit. And have them both be heels. Because honestly, Magnus isn't that bad as a heel. He's got the cockiness, he just needs a little more.
Yeah.
Right? He's good on the mic, it's just he needs something else. He's lacking.
Well, I think it's like it's mainly like this whole thing with Eric Young proves. He needs like a story that he can actually get behind and actually work with.
Well, yeah, maybe he probably needs someone else he can work with better in a whole sense. And EY has this bigger history than a lot of other people, so there's more to this. Now,
there's like more material for him to work with.
Yeah. Now, the easy thing for EY here now is Samoa Joe.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we have not heard from Samoa Joe in a while either, which
which
He's
they
kind of
have given a sort of an explanation for. That
Well, they talked about it.
Oh yeah,
weeks ago.
the ribs, like the whole thing where Abyss smacked him in the gut with Janice.
But the
that,
thing,
and it
they
seems
never
like
brought it up this past Thursday.
yeah, and it seems like Joe might be headed towards the disgruntled employee.
Oh yes, that was building up before too, and then with EY becoming champion, you can. I mean, you can easily see these two headlining Slammiversary right there.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's honestly why I'm actually really glad Eric Young is champion now, because all of those disgruntled employee guys they've got at the moment, like Aries and Kenny King and that, could be used as potential opponents for Eric.
I don't think Kenny King will make it to Young.
Well,
It's gonna be
not on a
Sonata.
pay-per-view. I could honestly see Kenny King versus like EY on like normal Impact sort of thing, as like a random challenge that Eric throws out, and King's like, well,
Now,
I'm not doing anything, so
yeah, and the interesting thing here is to remember the last time Samoa Joe and EY wrestled, EY got choked out.
yeah.
Although in a questionable fashion, this is how they're going to build up between these two.
Right.
Is when Samoa Joe choked him out and the ref didn't notice that Joe's shoulders were on the ground. That's how they're going to build this. And I have a feeling when they have their match, they're going to have a moment like that, but it won't end the same way.
Yeah.
They'll have a hint at this, but it won't end up happening. And honestly, it'll work. It should work. And Samoa Joe is another great way to build Eric Young as a legitimate champion.
Oh yeah, definitely. Right. Same with same with Abyss.
Well, yeah.
If he does have a proper title feud with him.
See, I don't think they can do that though.
And I honestly think after they build James Storm back up, that feud definitely has to happen. Him and Eric for the title.
Well, Bobby Roode.
Well, yeah, even that's got even more history because they go way back to Canada.
That right there could be a Bound for Glory match right there. The only thing is you have the Bound for Glory series, which kind of throws the monkey wrench in there.
Especially if it'd have to be that Eric would actually keep the title until then, or lose it before then and then win it back.
I could see maybe holding it through then. Granted, the reports are saying he'll hold it for a couple of months in lieu of the new program that he's going to be having come out, but,
Right.
If he proves to be good enough, they might keep it on him till Slammiversary. So, final thoughts. Start with Gil.
As we've basically pointed out in this podcast, this pay-per-view wasn't perfect, but it was decent. I mean, it got the job done.
It's above the 5, for sure.
Yeah.
Out of 10, I'd probably give it a 7 or an 8,
And honestly, that's what a lot of people have been saying for the pay-per-view. Is they've been giving it a 7. And the thing we got to remember is Extreme Rules is right around the corner, too.
Which is more than likely going to be like a 4 or a 3.
Yeah.
When the World Heavyweight Champion is not doing the rematch, instead of facing Kane, who has been...
would we really want to see that triple threat again?
Well, no, just Randy Orton. Well, Randy Orton, it makes sense for the rematch instead of... Eric Young versus Abyss made sense. Because Eric Young said, I'm going to challenge you to a match tonight. This was just Stephanie McMahon saying, you're facing Kane. And I've reawoke the monster.
I mean, I like matches those two have had, but...
Yeah, but, I mean... Come on.
It really depends on the
Abyss
kind of
just
match
became the
you're going
monster
with.
again. Is this not coincidence?
And people are calling out TNA for that, but that would have been I doubt that would have been live. That would have been pre-recorded on, before Raw, my guess.
Abyss had put his mask on way before then.
Oh, no, I mean, the EY thing
Mm.
with Abyss would have happened before the Raw that this whole thing was announced.
It doesn't matter, honestly. It's just kind of I mean, the whole pay-per-view. You got John Cena and Bray Wyatt in the cage match. Evolution versus the Shield. It's the season of Triple H coming.
Or what we really think about these. Every TNA pay-per-view going by like Sacrifice and Lockdown was Lockdown before or after WrestleMania?
Before.
Okay. So that and Sacrifice both better than WrestleMania.
Well, let's just say these two pay-per-views alone have been better than the rest of the pay-per-views for this year for WWE.
Oh, fuck yes.
And I'm not saying Extreme Rules is going to suck completely, but I'm just saying it'll be better if it has more Curtis Axel.
And with that, I think it's time to sign off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas and I pretty much gave our thoughts for the entire pay-per-view throughout the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, will we do WWE sometime? Perhaps.
If they give us a reason to.
If I can ever, not have to close at work on a Monday night and miss 2 hours of Raw.
That too.
More than likely we'll do Extreme Rules for sure, probably. Again, maybe we can get Adam and JB back in here at some point.
Correct.
JB is complaining about the time. I mean, it's only 2:01, and in New York it's probably 3 in the morning. It's just like, come on, don't complain. You're a New Yorker. You're in isn't New York the city that never sleeps? Come on, JB. Get your head in the game.
All right.
And then Adam, just go drive a train somewhere.
All right. Well, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about TNA Sacrifice and
the future of the world title.
That too.
And what match you're excited to see Eric Young face, or opponent for Eric Young.
Right.
So with that, goodbye. Remember to come back. See you sexy ladies later.
Good grief.